What if the state quarter sitting quietly in your hand right now is the exact coin collectors are hunting, and the clue is so small almost nobody notices it in time? The 1999 Connecticut state quarter is the kind of coin that can fool a collector in the first 3 seconds. Not because it looks strange, not because it looks ancient, and not because it looks like a coin that should be worth serious money. It fools people because it looks too clean, too familiar, and too official to feel dangerous. And that is exactly why this is such a strong first coin for your 3-coin video. This coin does not open the set by screaming for attention. It opens by planting doubt. Because once a quarter looks beautiful enough that people stop questioning it, that is when the smartest collectors lean in closer. The 1999 Connecticut quarter was the 5th state quarter released in 1999, and it came out on October 12, 1999. On the reverse, it shows the famous charter oak, the tree tied to one of the most powerful stories in Connecticut history. The design honors the moment when the colony's royal charter was reportedly hidden in that tree to keep it from being seized. So right away, this coin already feels important. It already feels historical. It already feels like something people would save. And that is where the mistake begins. Because once a coin feels historical, many people stop inspecting it like a coin. They start admiring it like a symbol. And symbols do not reveal value. Details do. Now let's get one thing straight before the hype runs too far. A normal 1999 Connecticut quarter is not automatically a $44,899 to $89,300 coin. Regular circulated pieces are common. This coin was struck in Philadelphia with a mintage of 688,744,000 in standard quarter composition, outer layers of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs 5.67 grams, measures about 24.3 millimeters, and has a reeded edge. In ordinary condition, most of these do not live anywhere near that kind of money. So if a coin from this year ever climbs into serious territory, something has to separate it from the crowd. That something is where the hunt starts. This time, do not begin with George Washington. Begin with the tree. Yes, the tree. Because the reverse is the whole emotional power of this coin, and that is exactly where a lot of collectors become too relaxed. They see the charter oak, they see the state name, and they think the story is finished. But this is the point where the story actually starts. Look at the branches. Look at the trunk. Look at the leaf structure. Look at the lettering around the design. Ask yourself whether everything looks normal, balanced, and clean, or whether one part of the coin seems too thick, too weak, too shifted, or too raised. That is how important coins often begin. Not with a giant visual shock, with a small contradiction. Then move to the front. Now check Washington's portrait, the date 1999, the mottos, and the overall surface. Look for doubling, unusual thickness in the letters, die chips, die cracks, odd texture, or any sign that the coin was not struck in the simple routine way most of them were. If the design looks slightly off-center, if the rim feels uneven, or if one part of the coin looks too strong while another part fades strangely, do not dismiss it too quickly. A coin does not need to look dramatic to be worth real attention. Sometimes it only needs to look wrong in a disciplined way. And that is the difference most casual searchers never learn. They get excited over random damage, scratches, dents, stains, or worn-out surfaces. But collectors who actually find the right coins ask a harder question. Did this happen during minting? Or did this happen after the coin left the mint? That question matters. A scratch cuts into the surface. A die crack rises above it. A struck-through area behaves differently from simple damage. A true doubled design feels like part of the coin, not a wound on it. That is how you separate noise from evidence. And then comes one of the smartest steps of all. Weigh the coin. A normal Connecticut quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If the coin comes in clearly heavier or lighter, that does not automatically make it treasure, but it absolutely makes it worth investigating. Weight differences can point toward damage, metal loss, or something more serious, like an unusual planchet or strike issue. And if the weight is off and the surfaces are behaving oddly and the design looks wrong, now you are asking the right questions. Also check the edge. It should be reeded, clean, and normal for a clad quarter. If the edge looks odd, weak, partially missing, unusually thick, or visually inconsistent with another quarter, stop and compare it. Many people ignore the edge completely. That is why some coins hide there so well. And here comes the mistake that ruins too many potentially good finds. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not brighten it. Do not scrub the dirt away just to see the design better. Because if the coin has any real collector value, originality matters. Surfaces matter. And the moment you clean it, you may erase exactly what made it worth checking in the first place. So if your 1999 Connecticut quarter looks sharper, stranger, heavier, lighter, or more suspicious than the average state quarter, do not spend it just because it looks modern. Set it aside. Compare it. Photograph it. Check the weight. Study the tree again. Because this first coin teaches the perfect opening lesson for your video. Sometimes the quarter that looks the most official is the one hiding the most interesting mistake. And trust me, the second coin in this video changes the game again, because that one won't just test whether you can spot a detail. It will test whether you know which detail matters first. Before you trust those ships, look again. The 2000 Virginia State Quarter is the kind of coin that can fool a collector faster than most people realize. Not because it looks plain, not because it looks worn, and not because it looks boring. It fools people because the reverse looks so complete, so balanced, and so easy to understand that the eye relaxes too early. That is why this is such a strong second coin in your 3-coin video. The first coin trained your audience to respect a quarter that looked too official to question. This one changes the danger. The Virginia quarter does not hide behind the tree, the motto, or the date. It hides behind movement, 3 ships, open water, and a design that makes collectors feel like they already know where everything should be. This coin was released on October 16, 2000, as the 10th coin in the 50 State Quarters program and the 5th released in 2000. Its reverse honors Virginia's early colonial history with the ships Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, tied to the Jamestown story. Like the other state quarters, it uses the standard clad quarter format, copper nickel over a pure copper core, a 5.67 gram weight, about 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and a reeded edge. In normal condition, these are common coins, and price guides place ordinary circulated examples only a little above face value, with normal uncirculated pieces still modest. So let's bring the fantasy back under control right away. A normal 2000 Virginia quarter is not automatically a $67,000 plus coin. Public price guide and auction records for regular examples sit far below that. PCGS says more than enough were struck to meet demand and that they can be easily found in circulation, with scarcity really showing only in very high grades. NGC likewise places ordinary circulated pieces at roughly 30 cents to 40 cents, with normal uncirculated examples much lower than the massive numbers people throw around online. That means if a Virginia quarter ever enters truly serious territory, something unusual has to be going on. And that is exactly what makes this coin interesting. Because the real question is not, do I have a Virginia quarter? The real question is, do I have a Virginia quarter that is not behaving like a normal one? That is a very different search. This time, do not begin with Washington's portrait. Start with the ships. Look at them as if they are trying to lie to you. The sails, the masts, the hulls, the lines between them. That is where this coin becomes dangerous. A design with multiple ships invites visual confusion. Shadows can look like extra sails. Stains can look like doubling. Damage can imitate drama. Even collectors have mistaken discoloration for a supposed ghost ship effect on this quarter, when it was not a real mint error at all. That is why this coin punishes people who rely on excitement before comparison. Now ask a smarter question. Does the design look wrong in a way that came from the strike, or wrong in a way that happened later? That difference is everything. Because this date does have real, documented error history, just not the fake kind people imagine from blurry photos. NGC has illustrated a 2000p Virginia quarter struck on a 10-cent planchet, which is the kind of wrong planchet error that instantly changes the conversation. Heritage has also documented a dramatic 2000D Virginia quarter struck 7 times, widely off-center after the first strike. And specialist reporting has noted a major reverse die misalignment variety on some Virginia quarters. Those are real mint-made abnormalities. They are not vague, looks weird to me stories. So if you are checking your coin, start with the reverse and slow the whole process down. Look for missing elements, shifted ship details, doubled features that appear raised rather than flat, or design parts that seem displaced instead of simply damaged. Then study the rim. If the coin is off-center, clipped-looking, unevenly struck, or showing multiple impressions, the edge and the design relationship usually start telling on it fast. This is not one of those quarters where you should be hoping for a miracle. This is one where you should be testing for consistency. Does the whole coin agree with itself? Or does part of it feel like it belongs to a different strike story? Then flip the coin. Now inspect Washington, the date 2000, the legends, and the rim. You are not hunting random damage. You are asking whether anything on the obverse supports what the reverse is suggesting. A scratch cuts into the coin. A die crack sits on it. A normal hit disturbs the surface. A real strike abnormality changes how the design itself is formed. If the reverse looks suspicious, but the front looks perfectly ordinary in the wrong way, that matters. If both sides are telling the same unusual story, that matters even more. Then do the move too many casual searchers skip. Weigh it. A standard Virginia quarter should be 5.67 grams. If the weight is clearly off, stop and investigate. That matters because one of the documented Virginia quarter errors involves a coin struck on a 10-cent planchet, which would not carry the normal quarter specifications. Weight alone does not prove treasure, but on a coin with known wrong planchet history, skipping the scale is just lazy collecting. And here comes the mistake that ruins too many promising quarters. Do not clean it. Do not polish the ships. Do not wipe the fields. Do not try to make the error show better. Because the moment you start improving the coin, you may be erasing the very evidence that made it worth questioning in the first place. So if your 2000 Virginia State quarter looks odd, set it aside. Compare the ships carefully. Check the weight. Study the rim. And remember the lesson this second coin is here to teach. Sometimes the most dangerous quarter is not the one with the loudest mistake. It is the one whose design is just complicated enough to make you trust your first glance. This quarter looks too clean to be dangerous, and that is exactly why people miss it. By the time someone reaches the third coin in a video like this, they usually feel comfortable. They think they know the pattern. They think they know where the mistakes hide. And that is exactly why the 2013 Perry's Victory Quarter is such a dangerous coin to end on. Because this one does not try to fool you with chaos. It fools you with confidence. At first glance, it looks like one of the most polished and straightforward quarter designs you could imagine. A tall memorial, open space, clean lines, a design that feels almost too official to question. And once a coin feels that complete, most people stop inspecting it like a coin and start admiring it like a symbol. That is the mistake. This quarter honors Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial, and the reverse design carries a strong visual presence. It is part of the modern U.S. quarter program, made in the standard clad composition, with a weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of about 24.26 millimeters, and a reeded edge. In ordinary form, it is not some naturally rare circulation coin that guarantees big money by itself. That is important to understand right away. Because a normal 2013 Perry's Victory Quarter does not automatically mean a value of $52,700 or more. If a coin from this design ever gets into serious price territory, something has to separate it from the normal population. A major mint error, a dramatic strike issue, an unusual planchet, a strong, authenticated abnormality, something real, something physical, something you can actually test. And that is why this coin matters. Not because every example is valuable, but because a coin that looks this complete can hide the most dangerous kind of problem, the one you do not even think to look for. This time, do not start with Washington's portrait. Start with the memorial. And do not just glance at it. Interrogate it. Look at the vertical lines. Look at the edges of the monument. Look at the horizon, the open fields, the lower design elements, and the lettering around the reverse. Ask yourself one question over and over again. Does everything look normal? Or does one small part refuse to behave like the rest? That is how important coins often begin. Not with a giant dramatic mistake. With one small contradiction. A design like this is actually more dangerous because it is so visually clean. On busier coins, collectors expect confusion. On cleaner coins, they relax. And once they relax, they start missing the things that matter most. A strange raised line, a distortion in the field, missing clad, an odd strike, an uneven rim, a section of the design that looks too weak compared with everything around it. Then flip the coin over. Now look at Washington, the date 2013, the legends, and the rim. If the reverse feels suspicious, the obverse should be treated like supporting evidence. Does it look normal in a way that makes sense, or are both sides quietly telling the same strange story? If the rim seems off, if the design feels slightly shifted, if one side shows metal behavior that the other side also hints at, now you are no longer dealing with a maybe. Now you are dealing with a coin that deserves real attention. And this is where collectors either become disciplined or they lose the coin. Because random damage can look dramatic. A scrape can look exciting. A stain can look mysterious. A hit can look like a mint error to someone who wants a valuable coin badly enough. But real mint-made abnormalities behave differently. A scratch cuts into the surface. A die crack rises above it. A true strike issue changes the shape or behavior of the design itself. A normal damaged coin just looks hurt. If you do not know that difference, this quarter can trick you fast. And then comes one of the smartest tests of all. Weigh the coin. A proper Perry's Victory quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If the weight is clearly off, do not ignore that. It does not automatically mean treasure, but it does mean you stop treating the coin like ordinary pocket change. A wrong weight can point toward loss of metal, damage, or something much more interesting, like a planchet or clad-related issue. But here is the key: never use the weight alone. Compare the weight with the color. Compare the weight with the edge. Compare the weight with the surface. Compare the weight with the way the design is behaving. When several small clues start telling the same story, that is when a coin stops being curious and starts becoming serious. Also check the edge carefully. It should be clean and readed like a normal quarter. If the edge looks thin, swollen, incomplete, oddly smooth in places, or wrong compared with another quarter, that matters. Many people never inspect the edge closely enough, and that is one of the easiest ways to miss something important. And now comes the mistake that ruins too many promising coins. Do not clean it. Do not wipe the fields. Do not polish the memorial. Do not try to make the design stand out better. Do not scrub away toning, dirt, or discoloration. Because the exact surface you are trying to improve might be the same surface that proves the coin deserved attention in the first place. So if your 2013 Perry's Victory quarter looks wrong, do not treat it like a souvenir and do not spend it just because it looks modern. Set it aside. Photograph it. Weigh it. Compare the reverse carefully. Study the rim. Look at both sides as one story. Because this final coin leaves you with the strongest lesson of the whole video. Sometimes the coin that looks the most official is the one that makes the most expensive liar out of your first glance. And before you spend another quarter that feels too normal to question, remember this: the coin you trust fastest may be the one you should check longest.